I don't know how to start this conversation. I have been holding off for quite a while. You guys know that I don't go by script at all. So this is all coming from my head, how I feel, and how I want to elaborate on this matter. If you guys don't like ranting for, or anything to do with anything with how things roll with the government and how everything works. This has nothing to do with politics. Don't worry. I don't even like having the conversation about politics, although I do think that our president is a little stupid. That's nothing to do with it, though. I am almost fed up with where I'm working. I have been hectic on making a video on this until I felt like I needed to talk about it. I was watching this one video, I think it was 2 weeks ago, on how a lot of places in the United States don't understand that it's not that they can't get people to work in the millennial era. People that are basically out of school since 2016, 2017, all the way up until, I want to say they're up until I don't know. Let's just use a term that, for me, right? I'm going on 27 in the month. And anyone who has graduated pretty much 7 to 8 years ago, I'm going to cap it off at 10. It is very hard in this era to live on by yourself. It is insanely hard. If you're not in a comfortable position now in living on your own, it is nearly impossible to move out of your parents' house. Like, literally impossible. And I am noticing that every year that I'm working. I was very, very happy to finally get a job back in 2022. I have felt like I have been free from my curse. Knowing that if I was to consider myself pretty much working for basically an allowance money, I wasn't working. I basically worked at two other places before I worked where I'm at now for pretty much barely pushing 4 months. Now that I'm now almost 2 years into my actual job, I've basically felt like I'm at a roadblock now. I feel like I'm being pretty much used to a point where, knowing that we've lost so many people in less than half a year in my warehouse, it's making me feel like they're trying to push me away as well. Like, I feel like I'm becoming their weight, and they're just slowly trying to drop me in hope to God that I'll leave. I had this conversation with my GM today, knowing that the last month I've pretty much just lost half of my hours that I've had for almost 2 years. I'm normally working 20 hours at tops, and now I'm down to 10. Now, this has nothing to do with you guys or anything, so I shouldn't be talking too much about it. But I'm going to, because this has been something that's been on my mind since nearly January, after really looking at a lot of problems that are happening in the United States. I went on a ranting spree on a person that I really respect on my bus to get to work, right? I was raging more than I normally would in the last year and a half. Ever since I've been feeling more like myself. And if you guys didn't know, I have been taking some stuff that's been trying to drive my testosterone down. If you don't know my back history, you might want to look up some stuff on my channel. It's not that I'm doing some stuff like that, it's something else. It's for my own good. You know, I don't need to go through other stuff just yet. It's mainly just to kill some of my raging and frustration, things like that. But this has drove me over the line. Now, it is technically illegal to be talking about some stuff, but I'm going to kind of round it kind of thing. You know, I'm going to use the terms money here. Living in upstate New York, in order to do anything, you need to have a foundation of about $1,200 a month to live comfortably, to about $1,500 comfortably. Depends on what you're doing. Are you just paying for your house, your bills, and maybe a couple of subscriptions online? That also includes food in the household for the month if you don't get food stamps. Now, for myself, if I was to consider the last month, if we scratch that I do not get Social Security, I am pulling home for the last month. Normally, I'm bringing home about not even 1,200. It's more like 1,000, maybe 1,100. And that's just giving an estimate. That's not exactly, because like I said, it's illegal to be talking about how much I'm getting. Let's just say now I'm bringing pretty much 150 a week to, I don't know, if I'm talking monthly, I'm saying probably 700, which if you really look at it, every week I'm pretty much just getting allowance money that I used to get from where I used to work, which is not okay at all. You know, I would understand me getting what I'm getting now if I was just getting out of school. You know, I would understand if I was brand new. You know, I am 27. I should be working more than 2 days a week and not 10 hours. You know, I've been working 10 hours for 2 weeks to almost 3 weeks after this week, which has been pretty much a month. And this has nothing to do with my work, but I've been using this as a reference point. I have been bowling for almost 18 years consecutively. Like literally every single season, I have never took a break. I have never in my entire life have I ever been so far behind in bowling than I am now. Okay? It's specifically because I normally have a routine. Every year, for the last 4 years, I have been consecutively being able to pay off my dues. And then the following 8 weeks, I would be down. In both of my leagues would be about, I don't know, 150, maybe 150 in both. And then I would slap out $300 right there, right off the rip, around the last 3 weeks of bowling. I was able to knock out Sunday 2 weeks ago. And I'm looking on my stubs for my Monday league, right? And I realized, holy effing Jesus Christ, I have to owe $350 in 8 weeks. It is absurd that I'm not getting anywhere close to finishing my dues. I go to my boss and then I go to my GM to see if I can get a third day this week as of right now. And the thing that drove me nuts is that I told them I'm willing to do anything in my power to get a third day just to get myself up to my normal days so that I'm not rolling home with $150. Like I told you, I'm not telling you my exact amount because it's personal shit. Everybody understands that. It's a reference point. And I'm telling you, it's almost close to it, but it's not. Put it this way, I'm not getting 200. Okay. It's insane. Even $200 is still ridiculous. Now, keep in mind, if I don't pay off my dues, that means I would be kicked out the following season. Because that is reflective to the actual reward money you'd get at the end of the season if you win. So, I'm trying my best to do what I can. And keep in mind, I love bowling. It is something I do for my mental health. It is something that keeps my mental state sane. You know, I do my best to do what I can to make sure that I'm not in a bad spot. Seeing that I got the answer from my boss and my GM of my establishment, they are not there to give extra hours to people just because they want to pay something off. I understand there's a difference between trying to get money for your rent or your bills and stuff than it's entertainment. I wouldn't be dying to get extra time to pay off my bowling if I was so far behind. Meaning, if we still had 3-4 months left, I wouldn't be dying for this. I have 6 weeks of bowling left, and I need to pay off $350, people. It's because they weren't giving me hours that I normally would get. Which is so silly to think that it's okay to give me an answer like that. Because they're trying to run a business. Keep in mind, this warehouse sells Land Rover parts. Gets almost $100,000 every month. Yes, $100,000 in a month. And they can't afford an extra 5 hours to me because they don't have anything to give me. I wish I could zoom in on myself right now and tell you guys straight to your face. Can you not pay off about $90 extra to somebody desperate for money? I would literally clean the fucking mountain-filled mess inside of the bathroom for 5 hours just to get something to do. I am literally inventory. There is more stuff to do as an inventory person. I don't know the exact terminology for it. I have counts. I can put stuff away. I can basically pick. I can do everything that has anything to do with items for the entire week. This is why when I tell my boss that counting is useless, you understand why now. you know? Because they literally tell me it is part of my fucking job. It is literally my job. I understand I don't like doing it, but if I have to do it, just give it to me. Throw the freaking packet at me and give me something to do. If it's to get me into the freaking door, give it to me. I don't even care if they're already counted by somebody from 2 days ago. Just give me it. Let me do something. My goal is to literally work full time, and they are not giving it to me. You know, it is sad that they know that I'm in jeopardy with Social Security. They know that I'm struggling with what I need to deal with. And they just look in my face and act like they're laughing at it is not okay. Like, I almost want to consider that toxic, but it's not. They're being serious with me, and they kind of smirk at it like, I'm sorry, but there's nothing to do. I'm like, are you serious right about now? You don't want to give me time because there's nothing to do. That's like telling me that I'm working at a supermarket and there's no food to put away. That's like telling me that I work at McDonald's but we ran out of beef. It's a fucking warehouse. There's always something to do. Regardless if it's sweeping the floor, mopping the bathroom, cleaning out the toilet from the person who shit last. There's always something to do there. Even if I have to find it. You know, let's go back to the topic that we started with. The government wonders why they can't get people to work. You can't pay the person the correct amount. Since stimulus checks have taken over the United States by storm the last 3 years, aka stimulus checks, if you don't know, because I have a lot of people who may watch this that don't know what a stimulus check is because they live in the UK. There's two different versions. There's unemployment, and then there's the one that we've been getting that people have been abusing for the last 2 years. Basically, if you recently worked before the cough, you would get a monthly check for basically doing nothing. And now that basically jobs in the United States, or even just where I live now, they abuse the hell out of it because they're getting more from the stimulus checks than they can from anywhere else. Literally anywhere else. It's almost like getting a Social Security income, but you previously worked and you're now getting unemployment. So, for example, let's say the minimum wage is $14.75, right? If they were to do full time, they would probably get a stimulus check of like $2,000 for the month, or around there. I don't know. I never got them. I got like two just because Trump gave it away. After that, I got nothing because I didn't work during that time. So now I don't get them anymore. Even if I wasn't working, I'd be getting my Social Security. So that can technically is my stimulus check for the month. But work environments can't or will not pay more than what that person's getting. So they will refuse the opportunity to work. Because they're like, if you don't give me the amount that I need to get off it, fuck you. That is one of them. The other one is that they are not willing enough to give people the hours required. So let's say that I'm getting Social Security of around $1,200. I can work up to 20 hours throughout the week for the entire month, and I'll be perfectly fine. I would still get about $250 from Social Security, right? Let's say that I'm jumping around 20 hours, 10 hours, 15, and then let's say 3. Social Security is going to yell at me because I'm not being consecutive. Knowing I was working 20 hours every week for the last year and a half, and then I plummet down to 10, I'm most likely going to get my ass whooped. You know, I'm knowing I just finished my first quarter, or my first full year, and now I'm in my first quarter. I just got a note last night from them saying that I got paid so on and so forth for the year, and then here's what you got for the first quarter. I'm going to get freaking whooped with a freaking mallet from Social Security, and I'm going to get screwed. Most likely. So I've been super stressed out. I have been wanting to pour a glass of milk straight onto my coworker, or my boss technically, but he acts more like my coworker at this point because he's being a douchebag. And I want to pour a gallon of freaking milk onto my GM's tower that he has in his office. It is getting insane. It is actually crazy how I'm being treated now. Like I'm really looking into possibly. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize how close I was to my desk. I really want to move away from this warehouse. I really do. But nowhere else in my local area. It's close enough for me to ride my e-bike too. And the Flex Bus is not going to be flexible with me like they are now. So, like, this is why I wish I unfortunately had a way to use YouTube as a platform to work with to get revenue, but I never got a chance to, unfortunately. And it's sad. Like, this would be one of those times I'd be like, hey, if you can give me some money, that'd be great, you know? But I can't. I don't get super chat. I don't get anything, you know? I wouldn't be desperate that much either way. I don't like using my community for that kind of matter. Be kind of nice, don't get me wrong, because I know there's some people there that would be supportive. But I don't need that kind of stuff when I'm already getting Social Security. So I'm not going bankrupt. Even though I felt like that last week because I was down to like $10 even halfway through the week. This is why I haven't been streaming, you know? It's like I want to do something. I want it because it makes me happy. But when I'm looking the way I am now, just making this video, it's depressing, you know? Imagine me doing this live, just talking like I'm just not there. You know? I've been talking about these problems with like the college kids being in and out of the warehouse, taking my spot, taking my hours. You know, it's not an excuse to tell me that I'm part-time and then tell me, you know what, we're just... It's crazy. Freaking nuts. I can't keep rambling. I had to actually pause my recording because I just, I don't know. I just hate doing these kind of things to you guys, but knowing that this is one of my things that I like doing, getting things off my chest, you know. It's been almost 30 minutes. I have to probably cut down some of this, hopefully. Before I start bawling my eyes out, I'm gonna let you guys go. Hopefully I'll be back on Thursday. I'll stream since I have the day off. And I'll go from there, right? If not, I'll try to stream on Saturday. Or do a short stream on Sunday. I'm not too sure. I love you all. Catch you guys hopefully real soon. Enragers. Out, guys.